Before a man first set foot on the moon, no one truly believed science fiction could become science fact. It would take all of NASA's planning, calculations, and training to get us there. With the Apollo 11 mission, the dream became a reality.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Less than a year after the first man landed on the moon, Jack Swigert, Fred Haise, and Commander Jim Lovell were ready for their mission. On April 11th, 1970, at exactly 13:13, Apollo 13 set course for the moon.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
It was a destination they would never reach.
We may have had an instrumentation problem.
On the 13th day in April, everything that could go wrong did.
He had a pretty large bank. Houston, we've had a problem. Had a main bus thunderbolt. Okay, now let's everybody keep cool and solve the problem, but let's not make it any worse by guessing.
And for 5 days, America and the world prayed for a miracle.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, here we go.
The Sci-Fi Channel presents an in-depth look at the making of the new Ron Howard film from Universal Pictures, Apollo 13, starring Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Kathleen Quinlan, Ed Harris, and Gary Sinise.
That's wrong.
In the next half hour, journey behind the scenes on one of America's most gripping dramas.
We got a wicked shimmy up here.
Explore the massive undertaking of recreating NASA in 1970.
They don't have control? Did we miss a step here?
And experience, through never-before-seen footage, how the filmmakers joined forces with NASA to film in a completely weightless environment.
Motion pictures in 0G.
The Apollo missions opened a new door in space exploration. But as the events of Apollo 13 show, that advancement came with great risks. Hello, I'm Dr. Sally Ride. As a former astronaut, I know those risks. I flew in space on the 7th and 13th Space Shuttle missions, and though those missions weren't trouble-free, it was nothing compared to what the astronauts of Apollo 13 experienced. In the next half hour, we'll relive that harrowing experience through a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the new film, Apollo 13.
Okay, we're gonna rack back that way. Let's try rehearsal. Stand by, please.
Director Ron Howard brings to life this gripping drama, the true story of 3 astronauts struggling to survive in a crippled spacecraft, and of the commitment of the men and women of NASA, whose task it was to bring them home alive.
The odds against them making it back were kind of 10 to 1. The more I kept learning about the actual mission, the more I realized just how dramatic the truth in this particular instance is.
Short of landing a man on the moon in the first place, which all of mankind has been waiting for ever since, he first looked up at the moon, this is second place, without question. Going back to the moon wasn't as difficult as getting Apollo 13 back.
This is a movie that is really about not just the 3 astronauts, but the people in mission control and the astronauts' families as they stopped and prayed for the return of these guys.
It's a motion picture that's kind of bigger than all of us, and it's just something that we're so proud to be a part of, and it's one of the greatest human interest stories of all time.
Give me a go, no-go for launch. Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
FAO.
We are go.
Capcom.
We're go flight.
We are go for launch.
The clock is running.
Houston, we have cleared the tower in 1313.
They've lifted off, and for 2 days, everything is perfectly normal.
EDS to manual, inboard.
And that, gentlemen, is how we do that.
Okay, guys. We're going to the moon.
We're up there in the capsule, we're on our way, and looks like everything's going to go fine.
This is the crew of the Apollo 13, wishing everyone back on Earth a pleasant evening.
All of a sudden, a couple 100,000 miles from Earth,
About 2/3 of the way to the moon, a slight defect, finally surrendered to Murphy's Law.
and there's a big explosion.
This explosion that completely crippled the spacecraft.
Let's get that hatch button. The limb might have been hit by a meteor.
Odyssey, we need a going down.
Houston, we have a main bus A undervolt.
Econ, what's your data telling you?
It's reading a quadruple failure. That can't happen.
At first, they really don't know exactly what it is.
We are venting something out into space.
I can see it outside of window 1 right now.
It's got to be the oxygen.
Hell yes, they were scared. They were very aware of emergency procedures, although they had never anticipated a quadruple failure.
We're not going to have power much longer. The ship's bleeding to death.
The Apollo 13 spacecraft has lost all electrical power.
I think I've lost the radio contact. The whole world was kind of focused on these 3 guys floating around in this tin can that very easily could have just bounced off into space and become a floating museum.
But how long does it take to power up the LEM?
3 hours by the checklist.
We don't have that much time.
Coming up, we'll take an in-depth look at how the filmmakers recreated the world of Apollo 13.
What's the story here, Jack?
Hey,
Jim, SMRCS.
Mark Hamill and Ray Dawn Chong star in a Sci-Fi Channel premiere feature, Time Runner, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sci-Fi Saturday.
With all the pretenders out there, the only way to tell which psychic is real is to take the free Psychic Solution Challenge. How'd it go?
I was amazed. It was like she knew all about me.
I was disappointed with the B lady, but the A psychic was so real.
The A psychic was fantastic.
And that B guy was no help at all. But this one, she helped me so much. I definitely have my friends call.
Let's see who you picked.
The Psychic Solution.
Psychic Solution. Discover the difference real psychics can make today.
Call 1-800-233-0835.
Okay, here's my dream. That everybody sits down at the table together, and their hands are actually clean. And I've made these wonderful recipes, you know. Things passed down from my mom and my grandmother. The kids say, please. Please pass this, please pass that. And the food is so good. Oh, this dressing. This is what I would make myself if I had the time. I like giving good things to the people I love.
Hidden Valley salad dressing. Honest to goodness.
Hello, I'm Frank Griffin. I have personally been serving Jacksonville for 38 years. Every day you see all kinds of advertising and wild claims. We pledge simply that when you come to a Frank Griffin dealership, we will be fair and honest with you. We will not be undersold in value. 38 years of building a reputation means that you can count on us. Don't fall victim to any gimmicks. Come to Frank Griffin on Phillips Highway. We promise you will be glad you did. Ask your banker or a friend about us. Frank Griffin, Phillips Highway at University Boulevard.
Welcome to the Arthur Murray Dance Studio, located in the heart of Jacksonville, Florida. This is one of our dance members, Miss Diane Neff. Diane, tell me, what has dancing done for you?
It has opened a whole new world for me. I love dancing, and they taught me how to dance, and it's opened a social calendar for me, and I think everyone needs to come to Arthur Murray's to dance.
Thank you so much, Diane. You too can come to Arthur Murray's Learn to Dance for $29, our spring special. Call the number on your screen today.
In recreating the events of Apollo 13, the filmmakers and the cast and the crew were committed to making every aspect of the production as authentic as possible. In order to do so, the filmmakers worked closely with NASA consultants, many of whom were part of the original Apollo 13 mission.
Okay, let's shoot it.
Picture.
Here we go, quiet please. And camera action, action! I think we all feel this is sort of a rare opportunity. We'd hate to look back on this project and say that we didn't do our homework, that we didn't try to understand what it was to be an astronaut, what it was to be a mission controller, to experience it.
One of the areas in which the production was able to convey detailed accuracy was in the recreation of mission control in Houston. So much so that it almost fooled the experts.
When I first walked into the set, I could have sworn I was in Houston. They've got it so accurate that it's a little bit eerie.
Ron is an absolute fanatic about every little detail being correct. You know, I spend 14 hours a day here, and I leave and I go look for the elevator. You know, because the real control center in Houston was up on the 3rd floor, and I forget this thing is so real.
Jerry Griffin and Jerry Bostic were original mission control members on Apollo 13 and were brought in by the filmmakers to be technical consultants for the many scenes that take place in mission control.
We're in the process of transferring over to the limb now. We've sucked some juice out of one of the reentry batteries.
And we need to think about that. We
about
should be okay. These actors were like sponges. You just couldn't give them enough. And they kept asking questions, and they would want the next level of detail and the next level of detail. Well, I think it's going to show in the movie.
Flight, I recommend we shut down the reactant valves of the fuel cells.
What the hell good is that going to do?
If that's where the leak is, we can isolate it there, and we can save what's left in the tanks, and we can run on the good cell.
You close them, you can't open them again. You can't land on the moon with one healthy fuel cell.
From my chair here, this is the last option.
For help in designing the authentic look of Apollo 13, the production turned to Max Airy and Spaceworks of the Kansas Cosmosphere, a space science museum dedicated to the preservation of American space program artifacts.
One of the primary reasons that those of us here at the Kansas Cosmosphere really wanted to participate in this film was Ron Howard's great desire to add realism and authenticity and historic accuracy in this film. We are producing all of the spacesuits, and one of the great challenges there is that no one has really tried to build replica spacesuits that were fully functional, all the hardware, all of the ventilation systems inside, and so on.
I feel it coming out of the back of my neck.
Yeah, it's supposed to come up into the helmet.
I see. I've been looking forward to the day when I could don the pressure suit.
And what's this?
It's a pressure gauge.
Oh, it's a double pressure
Measure the suit so you can see what pressure you're pumped up to. We're also building the interiors of all of the spacecraft that will be seen in the movie, the command modules, the lunar modules, and in some cases, actual artifacts from Apollo 13 from inside the spacecraft will be seen in this movie.
This is from one of the Flight Apollo spacecraft. There's a very good possibility that this one came out of Apollo 13. We do have a lot of original Apollo 13 hardware here. There were 2 of these in each Apollo command module. They function more or less the way that the artificial horizons do in aircraft, as far as giving them a visual reference as to the attitude of their spacecraft.
Altitude is on the line. Velocity right on the line.
For the actors, working in such a realistic environment greatly enhanced their performances, as did the on-set consultation with Apollo 15 Commander Dave Scott and the real-life commander of Apollo 13, Jim Lovell.
I think the fascination that I always had in the space program and in the story as well is in the tiny little particulars. Oh, that's how they did that. Oh, that's what they went through. Oh, it was so cold in the spacecraft that you could actually see your breath. And I'd ask Jim that. I said, so how cold was it? Oh, it got around about 36, 38 degrees. So you could see your breath through, yeah, those last couple of days, yeah, it was pretty cold. That's the way he puts it.
Jim Lovell even took time for something few astronauts ever get to do: act in a movie.
These actors have surrounded themselves with the real astronauts in order to play these roles authentically.
It's been a process of trying to become comfortable with astronaut speak, because what sounds like a foreign language to laymen like myself is just second nature to them. We have Dave Scott, who's on the set almost every day, who is a tremendously helpful resource.
Yeah. But, you know, we're supposed to have the comm link right here that we have to, you know, when we're talking to NASA, we got to
PTT.
Push to talk. Push to talk.
Usually on a hot mic internal, but a push to talk to the ground.
Where was that? Was it right in your chest? Here in your chest.
It's pretty easy to read.
So we stay hot. We're hot to each other.
I'm really impressed with the authenticity of the way they're doing this. And they're so interested in getting this accurate and precise down to not only the word, but the inflection of the word and the meaning behind the word. Houston, we have a main bus A undervolt now too. It's reading 25.5. Main bus B is reading ship right now. We got a wicked shimmy up here.
We build into every scene the switches that we'll be working on and the procedures that we'll be doing. So if we have a flight plan or a systems manual in our hand, we're actually turned to the page that we're talking about.
Tom Hanks is Commander Jim Lovell. I mean, he's spent a lot of time with Jim, but he's also obviously done a lot of research. I really believe Tom could fly a mission.
Our gimbals are good. Our trim is good. Get ready for a little choke, fellas.
That some little joke.
The biggest challenge the filmmakers faced was filming the weightless space sequences. When we come back, we'll see how NASA played an integral part in tackling that challenge.
The new Vanish power system against the other guy. Clear the way and let the competition begin. Only the Vanish power system has a dispenser that protects the tablet. So flush after flush, it blasts out more cleaners. After one flush, they're about the same. But after frequent flushing, Vanish power is still going strong. The competition, the difference is clear. The Vanish power system has cleaning power that just won't vanish. From S.C. Johnson Wax.
Now you can give them pizza whenever they want. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. Pizza Bagel Bites. Bite-sized pizzas on wholesome little bagels.
We asked the hottest coaches in the game to switch antiperspirants and try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection.
It just keeps you dry.
It certainly worked for me.
Degree, for an extra degree of protection.
So, you want a car, but you've got bad credit, no credit. Need a loan? Pick up the phone. Yes, pick up the phone and call the Instant Credit Hotline now. 1-800-265-9213. Get credit. Call now. Special automobile financing is available to everyone. Make the call. It's automated. It's easy. No hassle, no embarrassment way to get credit approval right now. Every credit application will be accepted during this sale. Need a loan? Pick up the phone. Yes, call the Instant Credit Hotline now. 1-800-265-9213.
The sexiest night in Jacksonville continues Saturday at the BBC on Bay Meadows Road. Hawaiian Tropic presents the Miss Fitness Competition, brought to you by Tantec, Love Shack, Jacksonville Athletic Club, and the Florida Girls Network, where you'll see highlights every Friday night at 11 on Cable 25.
NASA's been able to simulate many aspects of space, including weightlessness. It was this expertise that led the filmmakers to ask NASA for help in filming the movie's many scenes that take place in a weightless environment.
Well, folks, let's head on down to the lunar excursion module. Follow me.
We were talking about how we were going to have to try to create zero gravity on the stage, how to pull that illusion off. And we're using every cinematic tool at our disposal. Every trick in the book is going into this. But for a number of the shots, I thought, well, there must be some way to actually work in zero gravity.
To achieve the unprecedented goal of filming in an actual zero-gravity environment, the filmmakers turned to NASA's astronaut training program and an aircraft unlike any other.
I've known about the KC-135 zero-G plane for a while, and I didn't quite know how it worked. But I'd heard that there was, that there was a way that the astronauts simulated zero gravity.
It flies in a parabola. It goes at 45-degree angle up, and then it pitches over at 30,000 feet.
And then it does sort of like a giant roller coaster maneuver and goes over the top.
And as you're going up over, well, the inertia carries you still up. And as it goes over and pitches down, you're essentially in free fall inside the cabin.
So you lift, and that begins the zero G. We're not going to be able to work in the way that you usually work because we have a limited amount of time. We have to very specifically rehearse a whole series of shots. So we're breaking it down as meticulously as we can in terms of action, camera angles, lighting, and so forth, so that we can go in there and get as many shots as possible. It's kind of like a 2-minute drill in football, where time is working against you, and you just have to go do it. We know this is going to be hard, and it's challenging on a lot of levels, but it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we want to try to do it right. So we have a fully authentic command module and lunar module that's been built to safely go inside the KC-135, and we're shooting a good hunk of our movie that way. When they pull up, they start pulling 2 Gs, which is twice what you're used to. So your face presses back a little bit, and whatever position you're in, you really feel it.
I remember I was sitting next to Kevin, and then we were joking and talking about eating cheeseburgers and everything, and then as we started to go up and we felt our chins just started to be pulled down, we just, oh man, I thought, man, I'm going to blow my cheese for sure.
Yeah, it's called the vomit comet.
They call it the vomit comet because almost everybody gets sick on this thing eventually. It's best to lay down and just take it all through your chest and everything. And then it goes over the top. All of a sudden, everything just starts to lighten. And it's just like you're almost tossed up. And suddenly you're floating.
You literally pop right up into zero gravity. It feels like you've just been spun upside down. All the blood goes into your head, and it feels like when you're in a Rocco plane at the amusement park, it just feels like you just got spun upside down. You think, hey, I'm upside down. No, I'm not. What's wrong? Why is it different? Oh, I'm floating.
Well, once we feel the lift, then everybody goes to their starting positions, camera rolls, and I say action, and we've got about 12 to 14 seconds of zero gravity to work with.
Float it, dumbbell.
And we were all learning how to do it. And I was off directing on the sidelines upside down sometimes. Float. Yeah, it looks pretty good, Tom.
It's a very tight atmosphere to work in. It's very frenetic because everybody's screaming at each other, trying to get it going.
30. Here we go. 30.
And then everybody has to get to a safe position because as you pull out of it, if you're up by the ceiling, you just go smacking down onto the floor.
Yeah, we got
sucks you right down.
Some battle scars already.
Couple spots here. Bill took a whack on the head.
The first day or so, they were flailing around. And by the 3rd or 4th day of filming, their movements were, much smoother, much more under control.
We could get all the shots that really sell the zero gravity, passing things and going through the tunnel, and stuff that would just take days to do with cables. And then we got used to it. We started floating around, and pretty soon we were having the time of our lives up there. We just couldn't get enough of it.
You know what the best part is when you're not in the shot. You got to go through the parabolas anyway, and that's like fun time. When my wife initially saw the footage of us, she said there was this kind of look of bliss on my face that she had never seen. It was kind of childlike. And it is a very amazing experience the first time when you fly like Peter Pan. It's nothing like anything that you can really describe.
In between shots, Tom Hanks and I would look at each other and it's just, can you believe we're doing this? We're doing this! we're in zero gravity!
When we come back, we'll look at the endless obstacles the astronauts of Apollo 13 faced as they fought their way back to Earth in a powerless spacecraft.
A young boy on a journey to set the world right. Quest of the Deltonauts. Saturday, April 13th, 8 p.m., 5 Pacific.
All I can say is my psychic was right on.
No way. Mine wasn't even close.
Then you didn't get the psychic solution.
The what?
The psychic solution. You know, the ones with the real psychics. And they prove it with a free sample reading.
A free psychic reading?
From real psychics, even the call is free.
Everybody should be calling.
You can't go wrong.
Call now for your free psychic reading. The call is free. The sample reading is free. Get the psychic solution now. Call 1-800-471-7491.
Oh, great. Your mother-in-law is coming, and she'll want to see that dress she gave Ellen. Yeah, that one. She's always on time, and you've got just one shot at getting that stain out. Don't risk it, whisk it with new Whisk. A whisk with even better stain fighters. In just one wash, Whisk gets out tough stains, even juice stains. She's coming! Don't risk it, whisk it with new improved stain-fighting Whisk.
Excalibur with 2 motors and 12 amps for carpets and bare floors. Now with HEPA filter system. Traps dirt particles smaller than the eye can see. Automatic suction for above floor. Excalibur. Now with HEPA filter from Eureka.
To get more out of your toothpaste, start using one that puts more in. One that cares for your gums, too, like dentists recommend. New Mentadent Gum Care fights cavities, tartar, and is clinically proven to help prevent early gum problems. New Mentadent Gum Care toothpaste.
With today's advanced satellite technology, everyone on the planet is capable of getting great TV reception.
Help! Help!
Everyone, it seems, but you.
Help! 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 Help!
At Radio Shack, we've got everything you need to get a nice clear picture, from antennas to digital satellite systems. And we're good listeners, too. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
These mutants don't get mad.
Dirty, stinking, slimy gators.
They get even.
It was a giant crocodile, I swear on my life.
Reptiles Revenge on the Sci-Fi Channel. Begins Monday, April 1st at 9/6 Pacific.
Come in, won't you?
Enter the fantastical universe of one of the greatest living science fiction creators ever.
I'm going to the moon, and I'm going to Mars.
I'm a monster, and I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
Ray Bradbury, an American icon, a Masters of Fantasy special presentation. 7 p.m. Eastern, Sci-Fi Thursday.
With a crippled spacecraft, the crew of Apollo 13 had to abandon its plans to land on the moon. Their mission quickly turned into a life-or-death situation in their struggle to get home.
They just had no margin for error anymore. None. Every step of the mission from that point on was critical, crucial.
Odyssey, this is Houston.
We've got serious time pressure here, Jim.
How much time? Can you give me a number?
Well, we're looking at less than 15 minutes of life support in the Odyssey.
Everything was kind of okay as long as it worked, and as long as their backup systems worked. But those things began to unravel.
Yeah, Jim, could you check your CO2 gauge for us?
Part of the problem was that all three guys were spending a lot of time in the LEM.
Yeah, Houston, we were just looking at that. Our CO2 measurement has jumped 4 notches in the last hour. The CO2 level built up and built up and built up. Now, if you start breathing too much CO2, you get a headache, and eventually you fall asleep and you never wake up again.
It's a movie that hopefully makes you understand what it was like to be there, what it was like to be in the capsule.
This rate, we're going to skip right out of the atmosphere, and we're never going to get back.
What it was like to be at home waiting for people that you loved to get back.
I have a request from the news people.
They can take it up with my husband. He'll be home on Friday.
What it was like to be in mission control with no sleep and trying to make the crucial calculations to send up to these 3 men who were relying on that information.
We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch. Failure is not an option.
That's why it's suspenseful, and that's why it's thrilling and exciting. That's why it makes a great story.
Why are so many people here? Something broke on your daddy's spaceship.
Gene, the Odyssey is dying.
It'll be the worst disaster NASA's ever experienced.
Odyssey, this is Houston. Do you read me?
With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
The experience the astronauts and NASA gained from the events of Apollo 13 would help tremendously in the Apollo missions that followed, in the shuttle missions of today, and eventually in the space missions of the future. Though it was a harrowing 5 days, it truly can be called NASA's finest hour. I'm Dr. Sally Ride. Thanks for watching.
Now stay tuned for Quantum Leap, next on the Sci-Fi Channel.